Benvenuti. Welcome to YouTube channel Urbana Vagatur. Today, we're going to visit San Gimignano, a Tuscan hill town whose stone towers once challenged the clouds. We're going to walk its cobbled streets, tracing fortunes made in saffron and Vernaccia wine, rival families who built medieval skyscrapers, and the plague that froze the skyline you see today.
The rise of the hills.
Long before the wine flowed and the tourists arrived, Italy was a land divided, not just by language and dialect, but by terrain and power. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the Italian peninsula splintered into 1,000 little fiefdoms. It was a time of uncertainty, of invasions, warlords, and survival. And in that chaos, people looked for one thing: safety. Where do you go when the lowlands are dangerous? You climb. You go up. That's where the hilltop towns come in. Across Italy, from Umbria to Liguria to Tuscany, communities started moving to the hills. The view was better, yes, but more importantly, it was easier to defend. You could spot approaching enemies, control the roads below, and build walls with only one side to protect. San Gimignano was one of those towns. But it didn't just go up the hill, it kept going up, into the sky. The early days of San Gimignano. Let's rewind to around the 10th century. That's when San Gimignano began taking form. It started as a small fortified village, just a cluster of stone houses on a ridge surrounded by forests and farmland. Its name comes from a saint, Saint Geminanus, a 4th century bishop of Modena, who, according to legend, saved the town from marauding barbarians by appearing in the clouds above the city walls. A miracle, they said. Whether it happened or not, the town took his name, and under his spiritual protection, it grew. Its location was a gift. San Gimignano sat along the Via Francigena, a key pilgrimage route from northern Europe to Rome. Pilgrims stopped to rest, merchants traded goods, and wealth trickled in. And wealth meant ambition. Stone, status, and the tower craze. As the town's economy blossomed in the 12th and 13th centuries, thanks to trade, agriculture, and a thriving saffron business, San Gimignano's families grew rich. And when rich families gather in a small town with little regulation, something fascinating happens. They start building towers. Now, these weren't just watchtowers or defensive posts. These towers were status symbols. In a time before Instagram, a tower said everything you needed to say. We are powerful. We are noble. We are not to be trifled with. And so began a vertical arms race. By the mid-13th century, San Gimignano had a population of about 10,000. And over 70 towers, each one built by a different wealthy family trying to outdo the other. Can you imagine the skyline? It must have looked like medieval Manhattan, stone skyscrapers jutting into the sky. The tallest tower you see today is the Torre Grossa, standing 54 meters tall, but back in the day, there were even taller ones. The town eventually passed a law. No private tower could be taller than the city's official one. So families simply built towers just under that limit, because rules were made to be bent, right? This was more than architecture. This was ego, rivalry, and legacy carved in stone. Why towers, besides showing off? So, what were these towers for, beyond bragging rights? For one, they were secure. In an age of violent feuds, the upper levels of your tower could be a literal last resort. You could haul up a ladder and wait out an attack while your enemies shouted below. But they were also practical in other ways, storing grain, housing servants, protecting valuables, keeping the family safe. And of course, in summer, the higher you went, the cooler the air. Still, the core reason was social. These towers were the medieval version of high society, and San Gimignano, unlike most places in Europe, has kept them. Politics, plagues, and power shifts. But San Gimignano's golden age wouldn't last forever. Internal rivalries began to boil over. Families allied with opposing factions, some siding with the Guelphs, supporters of the Pope, others with the Ghibellines, supporters of the Holy Roman Emperor. Fights broke out, buildings were burned, people were exiled. The towers, for all their height, couldn't keep the peace. Then came the Black Death in 1348. It's hard to overstate the impact of the plague. San Gimignano lost perhaps half its population in just a matter of months. Commerce collapsed, farms were abandoned, streets fell silent. The towers stood, but the people were gone. And then came Florence. With its weakened position, San Gimignano was forced to surrender its independence and come under Florentine control. Taxes rose, autonomy faded, the building stopped. And just like that, the town was frozen in time. The blessing of decline. Now here's the strange twist. While other towns modernized, knocking down towers, building palaces, widening streets, San Gimignano didn't. Why? Because it couldn't afford to. There wasn't enough money, not enough ambition, not enough population to warrant a full urban overhaul. And so, San Gimignano's medieval skyline remained largely intact. And that decline, that stagnation, it became the town's greatest gift to the future. Today, the towers you see aren't replicas, they're the real thing. Weathered, yes, repaired, of course, but genuine relics of a time when wealth meant height and cities were built to impress, not the world, but your neighbours. Let's take a virtual walk through the town. You pass through Porta San Giovanni, one of the town's stone gates. The street winds upward, lined with honey-coloured buildings. No neon signs, no traffic, just stone, wood and flower pots. You reach Piazza della Cisterna, the old market square. At its centre is a well built in the 13th century. Around it, medieval buildings lean slightly inward, their towers rising like forgotten giants. To the side, the Torre del Diavolo, the Devil's Tower. Legend has it the owner left town on business, and when he returned, the tower was taller. Locals whispered it was the devil's work. More likely, the owner paid the masons extra while he was away. Then there's Piazza del Duomo, with the Collegiata di Santa Maria Assunta, the town's Romanesque cathedral. Inside, vibrant frescoes wrap the walls with stories from the Bible, painted when most people couldn't read a word. To them, these were sacred movies in still form. The woman who became a saint. Let's pause for a brief detour, one of San Gimignano's most beloved stories. Her name was Fina. She was a young girl born in 1238. By the time she was a teenager, illness had left her paralyzed. She lay on a wooden plank in her home, suffering terribly, but never losing her faith. Her patience and serenity inspired everyone who met her. Legend says that when she died, on March 12, 1253, white violets bloomed from the wood beneath her body, and the bells of the town rang on their own. Today she's known as Saint Fina, and her chapel inside the Collegiata is one of the town's most sacred spots. Her story is a reminder that not all strength towers above the earth. Some strength is quiet and grows in silence. Up above, the Torre Grossa looms. Climb it if you're there. You'll see vineyards rolling to the horizon and rooftops stretching like terracotta tiles on a sea of hills. And everywhere, the towers, silent, watching. UNESCO and Revival. In the 20th century, San Gimignano was rediscovered by travellers and historians alike. Artists came to sketch the towers, writers praised its authenticity. And in 1990, UNESCO declared its historic centre a World Heritage Site, calling it an exceptional testimony to medieval civilization. Today, over 2 million people visit every year. But somehow, the town retains its rhythm. In the evening, when the buses leave and the sun begins to set, it becomes itself again. Quiet, suspended between past and present. Why San Gimignano matters? Because San Gimignano tells a bigger story than just its own. It's the story of medieval ambition, how power was displayed in architecture. It's the story of conflict and compromise, of a town caught between popes and emperors, between pride and survival. It's the story of preservation, not through careful planning, but through historical accident. And more than anything, it's proof that beauty can come not just from success, but from stillness, from pause, from the quiet years when nothing happened. The towers that once shouted, "Look at me!" now whisper, "Remember us." And we do. Even those were shouting about which the placing and world from visit being Al. And it's not chatting from the element and party with the mility that you can line Mena. Thank you for joining us on this journey through San Gimignano, the hilltop town of towers, saints, and stone. If you ever find yourself in Tuscany, take the time to wander its streets. Look up. Let your footsteps echo against the stones. Because in towns like these, the past isn't gone. It's just waiting to be heard. This has been the YouTube channel Urbana Vagatur. Please consider to subscribe and press the like button. Until next time, travel well and travel curious. Arrivederci.
Amazing, right?
Impressive.
Girate che vi faccio una foto voi due. Ricordo. Ho fatto. No, girati, Davide.
Mami, fallo solo me.
Io.
No. Ma me la faceva lasciare il giardino da fuori?
Non l'avevo nemmeno spuntato, però come imparato.
Madonna.
Non l'avevo nemmeno spuntato. Io non l'ho trovato. Buongiorno.
Gli altri cambiano.
Tanto.
Rossellino. Allí, en el suelo. No, la manita. No.
This has been the YouTube channel Urbana Vagatur. Please consider to subscribe and press the like button. Until next time, travel well and travel curious. Arrivederci.